Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we have been talking so much about the brand new map Citadel de More that dropped with Season 1 Reloaded that we have not had a whole lot of time to dive deep into some of the other major changes that came along with that update, the biggest of which was the Mangler spam pass that was made to Terminus Island in Liberty Falls, where they have cut down the number of Manglers that are going to spawn each and every round and ramp those up through the first 100 rounds. So after you get to round 100, it's going to be kind of the old way and you're just going to get overrun by Manglers. But up until round 100, they're supposed to have balanced it out. There's supposed to be less Manglers on the map at any one given time. And the primary question that I want to answer here, does this make my bullet weapons more viable? Can I rely less on score streaks, less on the jet gun, less on the traps in order to complete these higher rounds? Can I use my weapon a whole lot more? So that's what we're setting out to answer here. We already took it down. We're going to go ahead and rebuy all of our perks here. They also supposedly made some changes to the bug rounds as well, that they are spawning in faster, and even gave them a little bit of a buff that they're going to be a whole lot more aggressive. So yeah, we're on round 39. We're going to kind of test out some of these changes here and see if these higher rounds are more viable. They also say that it's easier to shoot off the arm cannons of the Manglers as well, making it a little bit easier to neutralize them. So let's just kind of test all this out and see how these higher rounds are feeling now that we finally got a little bit of an update here, and see if it was enough, or maybe they need to do a little bit more. Now this is not going to be a really long video here. I'm just going to kind of talk through some of my thoughts and opinions as I made this a little bit of a higher round run. I chose the Compact 92. It's an SMG. It's very much middle of the line. It's got a pretty high potential DPS, but it's pretty weak against armor, which makes it a pretty average weapon. And I wanted to stick with average and get the most average experience possible here. I didn't want to use anything that was overpowered, underpowered. I just kind of wanted to stay average. The only key things with the build here is I do have the CHF barrel, and I do have rapid fire on as well. So those are the two key things here. Now, one of the very first things you're going to notice once you start getting into these higher rounds here after this update is you're not going to have 4 or 5 Manglers spawning right off the rip, which makes it a whole lot more pleasant to play. These higher rounds were a lot more pleasant to play ever since this patch. I gotta say, this was the best round 40 through round 50 experience that I've had on this game since launch. So that is absolutely 110% a positive. Typically only one Mangler will spawn at the beginning of a match. Once you kind of kill him off, you might get one more. You kill him off, you might get 2, but you might also get 2 on each of those kind of spawns there with the Mangler. So you're gonna have 1, maybe 2, at least at this stage. I don't know how much that'll change as you get closer to round 100. I did not take this game all the way that far. I just wanted to get an overall feel for how this entire thing was going to go here. So first, let's address this arm cannon thing. It's supposed to be able to shoot off these arm cannons a little bit quicker and be able to neutralize these Manglers. And I gotta say, there is a noticeable reduction in the amount of shots that it takes to shoot off the Mangler's arm cannon, which I think is a super awesome change, and I'm glad that they made that. Now that you have fewer Manglers on the map at any one given time, you can also neutralize them a little bit easier as well. Honestly, I think they're a little bit more annoying at times once you do shoot off their arm cannon, because they're just constantly sprinting at you the entire time, but then you can kill them off relatively easily at that point, as it does a ton of damage to them when you do shoot that arm cannon off. But now the Manglers kind of spawn, you kill one, another one spawns, you kill one, another one spawns, and it kind of goes that way. If you leave them go and you're not kind of killing them as they're spawning onto the map, then you might find yourself with 2, maybe 3 of them on the map at any one given time. As you're killing off the zombies, then the Manglers are going to want to spawn into the rounds. So if you're not kind of dealing with the Manglers as they come into play, then you are going to find yourself with an excessive number of Manglers on there. But the most I ever seen from I played this game all the way to round 60. The most I ever seen was 3 Manglers on the map at any one given time during any particular round. So definitely a huge positive change. And somehow I lost all of my footage from rounds 45 or 46 onward to 60. I don't know what happened to it. There was 2 separate recordings. I had saved, quit, and changed some augments, and I stopped the recording, restarted it. I don't know, it disappeared. So I only have footage here for just a little bit longer. But I will say that once I hit probably round 50 or so, as we were approaching health cap, This compact 92, it was absolutely impossible for me to keep up with the ammo economy here. At 5,000 a pop here, I just was not killing enough zombies fast enough to make using just my gun worth it. So you're still, at least if you're using this particular weapon anyway, and other weapons are going to be a little bit different, and we'd have to kind of test this with various weapons and see how each of them handle the bullet economy. As long as they're killing zombies quick enough, then, you know, you can manage the economy and you can keep going up. But I was going down and down and down in essence using this compact 92 the further that I went here, which was honestly probably one of the most disappointing things about this entire gameplay, is I was very much overall enjoying all of the changes that were made to it. And I think just like everybody, I love playing Citadel de Mor so much more simply because there are no manglers on that map. I absolutely 100% have mangler fatigue here, but me being the type of person that would much prefer just using my bullet weapon all of the time here in zombies, I would much prefer to just be able to manage my rounds by just shooting zombies. That's what I find to be the most fun thing to do, at least for most of the time. And of course, utilize traps and wonder weapons and stuff like that at times, and score streaks of course as well, but I don't want to have to rely on those things. And while I think this has been a great step in the right direction here, I do think that they have a little bit further that they need to go here, and I think that's going to have to come with the weapons. I know that Donuts just put out an amazing video talking about Deadshot, and I will say it is awesome to see that they finally fixed the dead set augment. Back when I made my Deadshot video, the dead set augment, or maybe it's not dead set, I don't remember the name of it, the one that was supposed to do more damage to armor pieces, that one was bugged and not working whatsoever when I did my testing. So at some point they have fixed that, which is amazing, and I'm glad that they finally fixed that. And I know you can do some amazing damage with Vulnera Bean and Napalm Burst to the Manglers and the Mega Abominations here, and I think that that is fantastic. However, those things are not helping you a ton against the zombie horde themselves. And once you get up toward round cap, or health cap rather, you are, you know, you're only killing about one zombie a second, maybe a little less than a zombie a second, depending on the weapon that you're using and specifically how you got your build made out. So I think a little bit does need to be done to the weapons. I think that they can bring that down to about maybe like 2/3 of a second to 3/4 of a second, like at the most, to kill a zombie, then I think that we'd be in a pretty good place. There would still be plenty of difficulty with dealing with a horde at that point, as they're all going to be super sprinters and tons of armored zombies and all those things. It's going to be plenty difficult to deal with, but it's not going to feel like your weapons are just absolute pea shooters. You're still going to be able to, you know, take them out enough, which is, you know, something that I think would be good. I do enjoy using cryo freeze when it comes to shooting the hordes, and you combine that with Vulnera Bean and you get some pretty good damage as well, because it does activate quite often. But that's a whole story for another video. But it was disappointing to see that my bullet weapon wasn't performing quite as good as I would like to see. And the last thing I want to talk about real quick are the Vermin rounds, and they made some massive changes to these rounds. These Vermin spawn in so quick, and they are hyper aggressive now. These rounds go by so much faster, but you are just getting swarmed with these vermin, and these things can do massive amounts of damage to you. So these Vermin rounds are no joke anymore. You're probably not really going to be able to just sit in a corner and try to deal with these rounds. Not the way you used to do it in the past. You're going to have to get up and you're going to have to fight a little bit in this. And honestly, I love it. The rounds felt like they went by really quickly. I think I finished them all in under a minute, which is awesome, when they were previously taking probably 3 to 5 minutes for Vermin rounds. So yeah, definitely some huge and positive changes to the Vermin rounds here. So I'm glad that they finally made those, and hopefully those stay super fast and, you know, stay playable all the way through round 999, because that's the absolute best way to do it. You don't want these to be dragging out over massively long periods of time, because that would be just atrociously boring. And that's what led to gentlemen's agreements that in people racing for the 999 would, you know, just save, quit, and try to skip Vermin rounds because they were just so painfully long and boring. But yeah, so some great changes that did come with Season 1 Reloaded to the other two maps when it comes to high rounding. I'm curious to know what you all think, so let me know down in the comments how you're feeling about these changes. Do you think they need to go a little bit further? I personally think they need to go a little bit further with it. They think they need to cut back the Manglers just a little bit more, and we need a little bit more of a buff with the bullet weapons to the hordes. And then I think we're going to be in a really good place when it comes to high rounds. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Make sure you smash the like button, and I appreciate you. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Cool Whip, and I'm out.